Joe Biden won the election. Joe Biden won the election. Joe Biden won the election. There's no evidence of fraud whatsoever. Donald Trump lost, hands down, uncontested. Joe Biden won the election. I'm trying to please my YouTube gods. There's a new policy in town. You didn't hear about it? Let's get into it. I think this is a very important video. So if you think it's decent, please hit the like button. Share it. It's important, I think. Anyway, YouTube rolled out a new policy. If you critique the 2020 election or the fact that Joe Biden won hands down and there was no evidence of fraud, then your video will get removed. Let's read. Official blog. Yesterday was the safe harbor deadline for US presidential election, and enough states have certified their election results to determine a president-elect. Given that, we will start removing any piece of content uploaded today or anytime after that misleads people by alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 US presidential election. In line with our approach towards the historical US presidential election, for example, we will remove videos claiming that a presidential candidate won the election due to widespread software glitches, like what happened in Detroit, or counting errors. We will begin enforcing the policy today, and we will ramp up it in the weeks to come. As always, news coverage and commentary on these issues can remain on our site if there's sufficient education, documentary, scientific, or artistic context. That's important. We're going to get back to the artistic or educational context. But let me ask you this. What happened to Russiagate? For 4 years, you had videos on YouTube, MSNBC, CNN, everywhere. But YouTube had no problem. They stayed up. They're still up now. Russiagate. You're going to get thousands of videos. They're not even going to have a little flag on their that says, oh, this is contested. Look at the facts. Why? This is so messed up. I hope you guys get the gravity of this. The level of censorship is preposterous. A whole section of the population is being censored, or, like the left likes to say, oppressed. I'm being oppressed. Censorship is never a good idea. The best thing you can do to combat a bad idea is discuss it publicly. Let people know why the bad idea is bad. You don't censor it. Even worse, now YouTube is driving the traffic towards the mainstream media. You go on YouTube and the first thing you see if you look for news or current event is going to be Fox, CNN, MSNBC, Jimmy Fallon, or one of those late night fools. But that's not what YouTube is supposed to be. Remember that you in YouTube? It was supposed to be fools like me in their bedroom filming with a shitty camera. People don't go on YouTube to look at Joy Reid or Anderson Cooper calling President Trump a fat turtle. It's for people like me in a bedroom. You. It's for you. Set up your own YouTube channel. It's YouTube. It's not mainstream tube. Mainstream media tube. It's TV tube. Well, that's what it's becoming. YouTube TV. Censoring. And I can already hear people saying, hey, but YouTube's a private company. They can do whatever they want. No, they can't. Trust me. I've researched this extensively. I've even written a legal research paper on it. And while I was doing my research, I came across this case. Marsh v. State of Alabama. Essentially, this case is about a private town and the religious rights and liberties that citizens had within that town. The court ruled that when a company opens itself up to the public to such an extent, then the protections of the Constitution and the statutes of the state apply. They protect the citizen. Quote, ownership does not always mean absolute dominion. The more an owner, for his advantage, opens up his property for use by public in general, the more do his rights become circumscribed by the statutory and constitutional rights of those who use it. Start acknowledging my First Amendment rights, YouTube. I'm going to become an attorney in a couple months, and you best believe I'm going to be firing out lawsuits against YouTube and Twitter if they keep doing this. They have to respect my First Amendment rights. YouTube discriminates blatantly against anyone who has a different point of view. That point of view would be left to far left. For example, I'm a tiny YouTube channel, but it's hard to grow because it's YouTube and also because, YouTube restricts and removes my videos. For example, I had 140 views on a video, which is nothing, but for me, it's a nice number. YouTube removed it. Why? Because I was promoting self-harm. But was I? No. I was reporting on a person who took his own life and the chaos that ensued. YouTube removed the video and then sent me a link to a self-harm hotline. The balls on these guys. Then there's another example. I had a video that went viral for me. 1,800 views. It's a lot for me. And then it got restricted by YouTube because it was Antifa and Black Lives Matter. After the restriction, I got 50 views. And that's how YouTube plays the game. If you're not saying that's something they want you to say, they restrict you or they remove you. Simple. But you can still watch lesbian porn on YouTube. Crazy, right? Go to YouTube and type naked yoga. And you'll see that you can watch that because it's for educational purposes. But this is not. All this censorship brings us to the Georgia runoff elections. It is paramount that at least one Republican wins the Senate seat. Now, I'm no Republican. Obviously, I'm no Democrat, even though I'm a registered Democrat. But it is important for the Republicans to win. Why? Because if the Democrats win both seats, then the Senate is going to be tied 50-50. And that means that Kamala Harris, the woman who argued for modern-day slave labor, is going to be the tiebreaker in the Senate. Which means that the Democrats are going to do whatever they want. They're going to pack the courts. They're going to make D.C. and Puerto Rico into states, getting 4 more senators that are Democrats for eternity, making it impossible for the Republicans to flip the Senate. They're going to make what? Illegal immigration not illegal anymore? They're going to do all these kinds of things, mandatory buybacks. But I'm not fear-mongering. This is what they said they want to do. There are active Democrats in the Senate lobbying for big tech to censor more people. You got Senator Ed Markey in Massachusetts and Senator Hirono in Hawaii doing that exact thing. Check it out.
The big tech business model, which puts profits ahead of people, is a real problem. Anti-conservative bias is not a problem. The issue is not that the companies before us today are taking too many posts down. The issue is that they're leaving too many dangerous posts up.
YouTube dragged its feet before taking any action against conservative commentator Steven Crowder. When YouTube did finally take action, it took the half measure of removing advertisements from Crowder's videos rather than removing him from the platform entirely.
Raphael Warnock, one of the Democratic candidates in Georgia, is a radical socialist who hates white people, hates Jews, hates meritocracies, hates the military, and hates a lot of other things that should not be hated. He also speaks in pastor speech like Obama did. Ugh, it bothered me a lot. Here's a snippet.
This country is every bit as sexist as it is racist.
Then we have other Democrats like State Representative Terry Meza in Texas who proposed this. Bill HB 196. Her bill would repeal the state's castle doctrine. This doctrine allows a homeowner to use deadly force against an armed intruder who breaks into his home. Now, these are the words of Meza. I'm not saying that stealing is okay, Meza explained. All I'm saying is that it doesn't warrant the death penalty. Thieves only carry weapons for self-protection and to provide the householder an incentive to cooperate. What the fuck? They just want her to get the loot and get away. When the resident tries to resist is when people get hurt. If only one side is armed, fewer people will be killed. Oh my god. Meza was quick to reassure that her bid will not totally prevent homeowners from defending themselves. Oh, okay, cool, thanks. Under the new law, the homeowner's obligation is to flee the home at the first sign of intrusion. If fleeing is not possible, he must cooperate with the intruder, but if violence breaks out, it is the homeowner's responsibility to make sure no one gets hurt. Oh my god. The best way to achieve this is to use the minimum non-lethal force possible because intruders will be able to sue for any injuries they receive at the hands of the homeowner. In most instances, the thief needs the money more than the homeowner does. Meza reasoned. Sounds like AOC. The homeowner's insurance will reimburse his losses. On balance, the transfer of property is likely to lead to a more equitable distribution of wealth. If my bill can help make this transfer a peaceful one, so much the better. Oh my god. I'm in shock. I was going to react to that, but I'm in shock. Thieves carry weapons to protect themselves? They need the loot? You sound like AOC, people loot for bread. It's the responsibility of the homeowner that nobody gets hurt? I wonder if you think that if they went to your house, you wouldn't like that, and neither would AOC. And what'd you say? You said thieves only carry weapons for self-protection and to provide the householder an incentive to cooperate. An incentive to cooperate? Is that what you call blackmailed with death? An incentive to cooperate? You dumb, sick. These people have no logic whatsoever. They gotta be kept out of power. They have to be kept out of power. Are the politicians I mentioned out of their minds? Please comment down below. I think they're crazy and I can't be the only one. And what about YouTube? Are they not going the way of 1984? It must be stopped. It must be stopped. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share if you liked it. And I'll see you next time, if YouTube doesn't ban me.